What's up, everybody? This is real-time dog training tonight. This is post-dinner. As you can see, got a kitchen I gotta clean up here somewhat. And I'm working on downstays with Ranger, and I'm working on being quiet on the back deck with Titus. And I'm using cleanup time after dinner as my means to do that. So this is also just a good tip for you guys. I'm gonna sit down here. That Ranger is really good on his obedience, but what happens with all dogs is we get a little slack in our boundaries, and so they get a little slack in what they're supposed to do. So today, Ranger was not doing very well staying on his bed under distractions while Mama was making dinner. So what do you do in those situations? You just go back a step. And I put his leash on, like you can see, told him to go on his bed and stay there. And what happens is every time he breaks off of his bed and he comes into the kitchen, I'm gonna grab the end of the leash and I'm gonna pop the leash and I'm gonna say, nope, go to bed. And I'm gonna make him go back on his bed. And then I'm gonna come in here in the kitchen and I'm gonna clean and I'm gonna do my things. And if he comes creeping in, I'm gonna grab the end of the leash. My attitude is one of very matter of fact. So I'm not angry, I'm not yelling. If he was to come in here, I would just grab the end of the leash, pop it, say nope, and send him back to his bed. Now for Titus, he does really well being on the back deck, but he can be a little bossy and he can bark or kind of he has a bark that's like, it's like a half bark, but because he's so big it's still kind of loud, so he can kind of do a little like woof, like that by the back door. So what I've done with him is if he does that, I open the door, I tell him no, be quiet, and I shut the door. And what I'm going to do once I'm done with cleaning up the kitchen is I will let him in when he's in this state. So what we reinforce with our dogs is when you're like this, you can come in the house. If you are barky and bossy, you never come back in the house. I always will correct you and you'll stay out there. And if there's different levels you can do this. My dogs know what the rules are. So for him, it's a real simple, as soon as he barks, I open the door, I say no, and I shut the door. But there's other dogs, or maybe you have a little bit more bossier dog. This is where you could take the same principle with Ranger and you could apply it outside. So you could keep a leash on them, and every time they bark, you would open the door, pop up the leash, tell them no, shut the door, go back inside. So that's another method. You could also use e-collars, but I really wouldn't explain the e-collar very much in this video because there's so much to it. So don't just run and slap an e-collar on to do this piece. That's like polishing last step. So I'm trying to make this more like, if this is like intro, what you would do. So I'm gonna real-time proof it here. I'm gonna grab a curly fry and I'm gonna proof this with Ranger. He's over that way right now. So I'm gonna throw this on the floor and see if he runs in and tries to eat it. And if he does, I'm gonna correct like I'm telling you. So here we go. So the food hits the floor. There's no response from Ranger. So I'm gonna say, good boy, yes. And I'm gonna give him this piece of food. Very good, right? So this is part of your proofing. Because most dogs, if they see the food hit the floor, they're gonna be like, I want that. So he doesn't, he passed the test. I'm gonna do it again. Yes, good. So my dog is being reinforced, good boy, stay, that staying on his bed gets rewards, not breaking and running towards the floor gets rewards. All right. So that's how you do it. So this is the same thing that I've talked about before in other videos with how to reinforce a downstay or a place command. This is, we're doing place, we're doing down, we're doing stay, and we're incorporating those distractions. So this is how you do it. And there's another shot of Titus. So I'm gonna finish cleaning up the kitchen here, and that'll be it. But this is a good way to just reinforce how to keep your dogs where you want them.